Live. Okay, now we're live. Yes.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. What happened is we there's a YouTube video and it's got like a zillion views by now, and it's how to make a DIY softbox light using a 14-inch cake pan and a strip of LED lights. And so we did it. And the fun thing is the lights that I bought ended up having a dimmer switch. So watch this. I can make it, and you'll see the difference. It's gets brighter and brighter, and
let the screen turn it down.
Yeah, see now the camera's having to adjust because it's so bright. But if I bring it back down, see, I'm dimming it.
I've stopped right there.
Yeah, so we can adjust it and we can get better light.
Yeah, I know. I will tell you when I said stop right there, I was looking at the monitor.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
I always judge it based on what's being broadcast.
Yeah, but there you go. So we have a second light source in here. And the wonderful thing is because it's LED lights, it's like, plugging in another lamp. It's not like those big professional lighting rig sets that you have to make sure your wherever you're plugging it in is wired to handle that kind of load. Because especially the big setups. But with LEDs, you can get by on much less.
Yeah,
which is wonderful. So, yeah.
Because we achieved that result for what, $30?
Oh no, it was a little more than that. But that's also because I went to Guitar Center and got a stand for it. Some other stuff like that. Yeah, and all that. But yeah. So we're gonna have much better looking footage in here. Hey everybody. Yes. And I've been on Discord for a week now, and I do have a channel, and been on a couple of other ones. And shout out to the guys on the pyramid too. Y'all have a really cute channel. I love those little raw emoticons. But if I do any video or anything like that, it'll be on the Kemetic Reform Discord channel. So that way, it'll be like a central place for everybody. Because I know there's a whole lot of Discord communities out there. So.
By the way, technically, since you're on Discord, doesn't that mean you're no longer causing discord because you're on Discord?
Very punny, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I still remember being on MySpace. Okay,
That's when the internet was a newfangled device.
No. That would have been Usenet. If you remember being on Usenet and alt.toys.transformers, wasn't there one alt.barney.purpledinosaur.die?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, that's going really old school.
Yeah, that's when sickos didn't have to have an emoji and they could stay hidden and we could imagine that they were girls on the internet and everything.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, there's actually several. And like I said, I will post the link for it because somebody's like, there's another Discord, Kemetic Discord community. There's also like I want to say there's one for Sumerian paganism too, and various other things. I haven't gone to actually search. You kind of have to know somebody who has a link, at least as far as I know. But I'll
exists, there's probably a Discord of it.
Say what?
If it exists, there's probably a Discord.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's true of anything on the internet. If it exists, there's something for it on the internet. But we'll do all that at like towards the end. We'll, do that. But yes, I did set up something for Kemetic Reform. And then there's also Miss Tutami's channel, and that's just like my main one where I'll be, posting stuff like for my books and, I got a camera in, things like that. Because, it's for the other things that I do. But girls on the internet? No way.
That's the rumor. I haven't confirmed any of it.
Yeah. Was it about, the rules of the internet? I will say I do kind of take issue with folks in the science fiction community that write like with Star Wars. I think you mentioned a little of that, but the Transformers fan was real bad about that. They write and they speak as if there are no girls who are fans. It's like, no, there's a few of us around. We caught flack for it at one point in time, but yeah, there's increasingly more and more girls who are fans of Transformers and other robot stuff.
Yes.
So yeah. But anyway, yes. So I'm, technically behind on posting videos here, but hopefully it will be worth the wait because I'll have better lighting, better, quality of video. I'll be able to cut between different cameras because I have 2 of them now and another one on the way. And, it'll suddenly will look like we know what we're doing.
Give us time, you folks that are supporting us on Patreon.
Yes.
This is all for you.
Yeah.
We're doing things to make your experience better.
Yeah, the folks that were kind enough to support me on Patreon, I saved up, all your contributions, and that's, why we have nifty lights and more cameras and all that other good stuff. So thank you. But
and I love you too.
I love you too. Yes. Huh. Yeah, no, Josh was saying ever since he, accepted Thoth. Well, yeah, funny thing, because I realize it's kind of hard to see here in the space unless I, kind of, let me see if I got something fun that I can put, this will work. Unless I put something behind him, but Thoth, Djehuty, he is the centerpiece of our altar tonight. Because it's the last quarter, in the phases of the moon, and
you know what?
Yeah. Huh? What? Darren, you said you know what?
He's only got a 3-inch stature.
Well, excuse me.
Not the size of the statue.
Well, I was just thinking he comes from a different world. We shouldn't laugh at him when he looks at other girls.
Oh, Djehuty and the blowfish.
Yes, Djehuty and the blowfish. He's only got a 3-inch statue.
Oh, there you go. Yes, that's one of Darren's other jokes. He remembers the name Djehuty because he thinks of Djehuty and the blowfish. But yeah. Yeah, but I don't mind. I kind of like this figure of him. It actually was from a series of like educational toys or something, so that's appropriate for him. And I also have some artwork, so I'm not worried about representations of him. If I need something bigger, I can blow something up and have it printed.
See, I just keep waiting for a nunchuck, and he just rises,
If that happens, service will get very interesting. So that's all I'm going to say about that. With all those wonderful updates and everything, covered. Time for your favorite part, Mr. Biting My Nails.
Sorry.
I love you both.
Just embarrassed.
Well, I figure you'll get me back at some point. Okay. But in the meantime, these cool waters are upon my hands. They purify me as Kemetic purifies me. Hail unto you, and I should have. Come unto you without falsehood and without evil. Our purity is upon our hands. Our purity is within our hearts.
Don't tell me
that
first. Go.
I cast out all evil that pertains to us. We are pure. We are pure. We are pure. We are pure.
Don't tell me that's not cold, man.
Hey, it's not as bad as it was 2 weeks ago.
No, nothing as bad as it was two weeks ago.
Yeah, I figure this is a welcome reprieve. Yes, now in order to switch cameras during a live stream, I would have to have, not a mixer,
Oh, you put me on the spot.
Oh, well, Darren was looking up what kind of a board, it was, but there's something that you'd have to have that you plug in your different cameras to.
And we're gonna get that, so
Yeah, eventually. So you can see.
Embarrass me further. But I'll have to start dressing nicer. It's our money from that point of.
Oh, come on! There's nothing wrong with shorts and a t-shirt. Actually, if you can see the t-shirt that he has on, it's really cute. This design that somebody did, spoofing the thing of Clark Kent, opening his suit, and you see the Superman logo underneath. If you've seen that artwork now, imagine it's Peter Cullen. He's opening his suit, and it's Optimus Prime's chest underneath this. Somebody did some artwork of that, and it's almost a meme now, and somebody made t-shirts of it, so that's what he's wearing today. But
if anybody like Peter Cullen or certain other individuals where they've done like hundreds of roles, you never know what's going to pop out.
Well, Cullen has done hundreds as well, but he's known for being Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
The guy that's done Megatron since '84 has been Fred from Scooby-Doo since '68.
Well, and this is we'll have to hold the discussion and stuff like that because we're about to start ritual. But if I get a chance to sit down and draw up the joke that we had where actors, various characters were all roommates, Frank Welker would have a high-rise apartment building.
Yes, he would.
But that's a whole other thing. And somebody was asking about different channels and stuff on Discord. Yeah, like I said, I just set up Kemetic Reform. You'll recognize the channel because the icon is one of my little not so little red banners here that has the temple name in it, and that's basically going to be the Discord companion channel to what we do here. And that way you can be like a if you're on another channel. And by the way, yes, somebody mentioned the pyramid, and that was a really cute channel. I'm on there too. Some really artistic folks post on one of the channels there, but this will be like our central meeting place. So that said, let's try and stay on track. Tell you what, let me just grab this one. Come in peace, bright eye of Horus. Come in peace. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
The eye of Horus shines like Ra in the twin horizons, and evil hides in fear of it. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
The eye of Horus destroys the enemies of Ra and all of their abodes till none remain. Receive the light. The eye of Horus comes through the four corners of the world. And we are purified with it. Receive the light. You arise in the Akhetis Khepri, O Ra, spreading your light upon the earth. You set in peace in the mountains of Manu as a tomb, bringing your light to Duat. Shine upon earth as you do in heaven and Duat. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who came from Nun at the first time, for such is your uniqueness. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who placed Hu at your left side, for such are the words you commanded. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who placed Sia at your right side, for such is your great wisdom. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, whose Hika goes before you, for such is your ability. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who rules with Ma'at upon your brow, for such is your righteousness. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra. Hail and praise unto you, O Djehuty, the thrice great. And to you, O Nutchuru, you lords of love and lords of life. Grant us life, well-being, and health. May our eyes perceive your goodness and our hearts receive your wisdom. May you shine upon us as you traverse the sky, that we may bring to you Ma'at and cast out his Fet. And may you guard us from the evil one through the dark hours of the night, your protection being before us and your strength being within us. There we are. Take these, your cool waters, by the inundation, that they may cool your hearts. O Ra Horeketi, O Djehuty, O Unachuru, these waters are the eye of Horus, that your hearts may be refreshed. Milk, milk, may you taste it in your shrine. May your hearts be refreshed with it. We bring you this milk from the great flood, O Unachuru, that you may be purified with it. We give you incense. We give you incense, great of purity. Its fragrance comes to you. Its fragrance is the eye of Horus. It cleanses you, it adorns you, takes its place upon your hands. O Unachuru, we give to you this eye of Horus, and its fragrance comes to you. Take this, your bread on which gods live. This bread is the eye of Horus, O Unachuru. Lift it to your faces and be at peace with it. The gardens prosper and Hapi rejoices, overflowing with his meal. We fill the eye of Horus for you with wine, O Ra, O Djehuty, O Unachuru. Drink and be pure. The doors of heaven and the doors of earth are open with libations for you within this house. May your faces be refreshed with your libations, your wine, and your water. Pure, pure is Ra Horeketi within his house. Pure, pure is Djehuty within his house. Pure is the Ka of Ra with this good myrrh that is given. Pure is the Ka of Djehuty with this good myrrh that is given. Djehuty proclaims it. It is written in his house of sacred words. Hapi gives in abundance, thousands of offerings, all things good and pure, for Ra Horeketi, for Djehuty, and for their need in every place that their immortal Kas dwell. Come to your body, O Ra Horeketi. Come to your body, O Djehuty. Come to your bodies, O Unachuru. Come to your invocation. Come unto us, your servants, who are mindful of your feasts and your offerings. Bring your power, your Hika, your honor, and your Ba to these your offerings and partake of them. Come, O people. Raise these offerings before the faces of these gods. Lift the offerings before Ra, before Djehuty, before the Nutchuru. All life comes from them. All health comes from them. All stability comes from them. All good fortune comes from them, as it has since the first time. Okay. I'm going to ring Sistrum again for those of you that need to turn the volume down. Ora Horaketi and your son, the Osir Nisu Nebkepera, your foes retreat from you. Horus turns himself to his eye. Turn yourselves to these your offerings, and receive them from our hands. I'll have to use some of this water so that we can offer cool waters for our blessed dead.
And believe me, folks, it's cool.
So, light the eye of Horus, that it may light their way into what? Shine in our remembrance of them. These cool waters from the table of Osiris. May they cool their hearts.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Were there ever instances where they couldn't perform these rituals?
What, like, yeah, well, if that's why, they would leave representation so that if somebody couldn't go, then, and at some points they would, those who could, they'd pay somebody to go and, leave offerings at the correct times, for their ancestors. Because I'm too busy. Could you go down and pour water and offer incense and food?
But if there was an instance where someone couldn't,
mm-hmm.
Is that why the offering of 1,000 of this, 1,000 of that? Because we don't know when we're getting back here.
They don't really say, but maybe.
I do mean it as a legitimate question. I'm like, what happens if somebody couldn't make the offerings?
Well, ideally, the hope was that by that point, they'd be set up well enough that they could be sustained in the hereafter. But
because would the Ka of the ancestors suffer?
Theoretically, but that's why they tried to do everything they could to take care of them.
I see.
And remember, some people couldn't afford to do very much. But everybody did, what they could. So, and like I said, there's not a whole lot of water left in here, but it's there. So,
just like there's charity in this world, there's sure to be charity in the next.
Yeah.
I hope there's more charity in the next than there is.
Oh, probably so. And think about it, folks like King Tut, get lots of offerings. He probably has lots of people mooching off of him.
They probably don't have to mooch. He probably shares.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to ring the bell for them. Kakao Abdu Senator Rahat Kudnibet Nafret Wabet Akad Nasharim and Cow and Akupunibu Maakirunibu Kirin Nacharaha. So yes, 1,000 of bread and beer, beef and fowl, incense oils, and all good and pure things on which a god lives, for the cause of all of these Aku, these beatified spirits, all true of voice before the great God. And so, to kind of answer and explain a little bit more, there's a saying today that, funerals are for the living. No, an Egyptian funeral was meant for the dead, because the idea was you had two aspects of your person. There's your life force, your essence, that's your Ka, that comes from the Creator. Your Ba is more like, your people will translate it as soul, but it's more like your personality. That's kind of how you manifest yourself. How we know you. I think if they were to if the Egyptians had the idea of reincarnation, they would probably say that your ka stays consistent throughout, but your ba is like how you manifest in a given lifetime. And the idea of a funeral is you're reconnecting those two parts of the personality, and that becomes an Akh spirit, transfigured spirit is one way that they translate it. So when we're referring to the Akh, the blessed dead, those are the ones that they've died and they've been honored and gone through the rites and are considered to be rejoined and made whole again.
What we do as far as the funerals and whatnot, it's like having an insurance policy. Yeah. It rather was pretty much, it's like, okay, do you want this, and do you want this added in? Yeah.
Well, especially if you're having the Book of the Dead buried with you. But in my experience, I think a funeral or even a memorial service like Wally's, it's like an amplifier. You're charging that spirit and you're giving them energy. I'll never forget. This is what's funny. There was a point years ago when Wally was still alive, and we were doing something on Skype, and I was sending a script to him to read over, and he was looking through an email, and he happened to see my signature file on my email and thought that was part of the script. Well, it was actually a quote of Ra from the coffin text. It's from the famous monologue of the Creator, where he says, I made every man like his fellow, and I did not command that they do wrong. It is their hearts that disobey what I've said. Well, that's something that Ra is saying, and in the original spell, you're speaking as the Creator in order to, gain power in the afterlife. Well, it's funny, at his memorial, his widow was speaking, and this bright, shiny green beetle flew out of nowhere and landed on her nose.
Wally.
Yeah, and she even said, "Oh well, that's from Wally." And I was tickled by it because I was like, "Oh, a beetle." That happens to be another manifestation of the sun god. So I guess unbeknownst to you, Wally, when you read that, those years ago,
you gained some favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yay, Wally.
Mm-hmm. This coming from someone, and I'm saying this about someone who in life was an atheist.
We can learn on both sides of the veil.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm just pausing for a minute to kind of step and catch up on the comments because I noticed there's been quite a few of them. And welcome to everyone, and don't worry about being late. Let's see. Okay, so someone's got a prayer request. Make sure my boyfriend's safe. Had his first shot yesterday for the vaccine. Oh, yes.
Congratulations. Absolutely. Yay.
Yes. Okay, but a lot of people getting a kick out of the cool waters. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some other folks were answering the question about the what happens if they're not able to offer, and that's and Audrina points out that was one reason why historically the idea was that the king would make that offering. Like when we do the voice offering, historically it would say a royal offering that the king gives, to certain deities, on behalf of the spirits, but of course now we do it a little differently because we don't, at least in our tradition, we don't have a king acting as an intermediary. Yeah. Okay, and all right, and then Birch also had another question. So I don't feel like I belong. Worship the gods that they love me. Feel lost and stuck. And that happens. Lots of people, go through periods like that.
Can you read that again?
Okay. Birch's comment. Sometimes I don't feel that I belong in the worship of the gods. Do they love me and care for me? I feel lost and stuck in life and in spirituality. And I hope that the Nature understand.
First of all, they certainly do. Mm-hmm. Second of all, that may be their way of telling you, we'll be here, but in terms of resources, you're missing some things that are right in front of your nose on your own plane. We're not asking you, don't ask for us. We're not asking you not to believe in us. We're not telling you that you're not wanted. We're trying to direct you to where your needs can most immediately be met. Some personal needs. Yeah. Physical needs, not just spiritual.
Okay, and Oracle says, if I may make a request, I'm finding issue with my life and meaning and support. I'd like to request whatever help they can grant in finding a job. So
their efforts will be proportionate to your own. They'll turbo boost what you do.
Yeah. Yes, and Rebecca is quoting a prayer from someone in Daryl Medina, addressing Amen, who says, who comes at the voice of the poor, in distress, who gives breath to him who is wretched. When I call to you in my distress, you come and rescue me. Though the servant was disposed to do evil, the Lord is disposed to forgive. Very much. Yeah, and that's there's a prayer that I'll read sometimes that's adapted directly from that. So, and hey, Alejandra, don't worry about being late. Rand pointed out, in heathenry, we can have a king, but the king is subject to sacrifice at the whim of the people for bad crops and whatnot. So, so do you really want that job? Yeah. And Rand also wrote a whole essay on this thing called When the God Phone Doesn't Ring. I've been pagan for 25 years and I've rarely had any kind of intimate or real experience. Yeah. Okay, and Celery, let me look through your request. Okay. If you go ahead and if you had a request that I missed, go ahead and like Celery. I think you had a request up there. Go ahead and if you don't mind. Wait. Hang on. I think it's it. Prayer to Toweret from my nephew. He's just over a month old now, and I wish him. Wish I could visit him. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well,
congratulations, it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait, so that means you're Aunt Celery. That's cute. I like that, Aunt Celery. But definitely. Well, let's go ahead and we'll present my aunt, and then we'll read some hymns, and then we'll read off those prayer requests. So as we were, I'm going to go ahead and ring the sistrum again. We come unto you, O Ra, as Djehuty comes, our hands joined under Ma'at. Ma'at has come to be with you in every place where you are. An offering of Ma'at is made unto you, that your heart may be pleased and your ka shall live. Truly your Enid has Ma'at, for they know you live in her. The Enid says unto you, your word is law eternally. This fet is cast out by your word. Rejoicing is yours every day. Ma'at has taken her place in your shrine. There we go. Let's scoot Djehuty over just a little bit. They have a close working relationship anyway. So. May we always act with gentility and compassion, for such is the first Ma'at. May we always offer charity and hospitality, for such is the second Ma'at. May we always respect consent and fidelity, for such is the third Ma'at. May we always avoid violence and promote wellness, for such is the fourth Ma'at. May we always speak words of truth, for such is the fifth Ma'at. May we always promote the public good, for such is the sixth Ma'at. May we always act humbly and with temperance, for such is the seventh Ma'at. May we always honor our gods and respect others, for such is the eighth Ma'at. May we uphold Ma'at like Djehuty, that we may witness Ra's perfection every day. And because it is the last quarter, we have a waning half moon tonight. We know that there were some kind of things that were done to mark the phases of the moon, including the quarter days, so the waxing and waning half moon. What's interesting is I'm learning that there was a parallel in like Babylonian and Mesopotamian worship. They had certain things that they would do also on the new moon, the first quarter, and the full moon, honoring specific deities. So that was like a common thing, marking the phases of the moon. And in our case, we honor Djehuty. So that's the full moon. I've got one that's specifically for the last quarter, but we'll start with the general purpose one. Hail and praise unto you, O Djehuty, thrice great God, the son of Ra. Lord of Kemenu, wise one and Yunu, you report to Ra every morning. Messenger of humankind, you know people by their speech and judge them by their deeds. Those true of voice before Oser, their names are in your list. The Aeneid gives you praise as you guide the bark of millions, as you cast out the evil one, as you change strife into peace. You know all secrets, all books, all deeds, the fleeting moment, the hour of night. No report to Ra is forgotten. Your words endure for eternity. Friend of the people, wise and impartial, great one, Lord of Ma'at. And because we had a request for Tauret. Hail, O Tauret, great goddess. Hail, O Tauret, great of magic. Young children are under your care, and may you please take care of Celery's nephew, and may she be able to visit with him and to hold him, and for him to get to know his Aunt Celery, hopefully very soon. And because we're honoring Djehuty, our friend and Padawan, our partner in mischief, was just with us and helped us put this light together. He's going to be starting a continuing education class basically tomorrow. It's on weekends, and he's learning how to maintenance 3D printers, I guess, and work with them. And since students are under Djehuty's purview, I ask that you look after him. May he learn the things that he seeks to know, and keep him safe, as we continue to navigate through this pandemic, because it's obviously not over yet.
I also have two prayer requests.
Okay, go ahead.
One for my mother. She's undergoing some treatment for vertigo right now. And the other one is for our friend Kathy. Mm-hmm. Her husband, our comedian. The comedian.
I was about to say the comedian friend. Yeah.
Her husband's left carotid artery is 100% blocked.
Ew.
And they're very, very concerned about him being able to live.
Yeah, because that's one of the arteries in your neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of important. So, I guess, Djehuty, if you would please look after those that we care about and help them to get well and to move forward. And also, Sekhmet, we need to honor our beloved lady.
Yes.
Mistress of healing.
Because she's always quite sweet to me and quite good to me.
Mm-hmm. Hail, O Sekhmet the Great, the Eye of Ra, who hides him within her iris. Hail, O Sekhmet, sovereign and mistress of light, who moves in brightness. In peace, Sekhmet, mistress of darkness, at whose setting the dusk comes. In peace, Sekhmet, mistress of fear, whose seal brings death. Hail unto you, Sekhmet, daughter of Ra, who loves Ma'at, who detests Sfet. Most holy of the gods, one seeks life in you. May you please give life, well-being, and health. And there we go. Come on. Hold on a sec. It's getting down to it's getting close to the bottom of the candle, so I'm just having to make sure that it.
Just please don't hurt yourself.
No, it's all right. There we go. So you have a nice warm glow. So please may you grant life, well-being, and health to all those who seek it, which means all of us. Okay. Okay, yes, and Rebecca's the one. She had friends who had his second leg amputated. Healing for him and his family. And my kitten got spayed and is unhappy.
I would be too.
Do they put the cones on cats too?
I don't know. I'm not sure I want to know.
Yes, hopefully your kitty heals up.
Because all I know is that everything that's ever been spayed that I've met was miserable afterwards.
Yeah. Yes, and may the vaccine roll out quickly to all. Yes. Sometimes they get cones, sometimes they don't. Yes, she has the cone of shame, but she took it off like 20 times in the night until we put a smaller one on. Yeah.
Put him in the cone of shame.
Right. Yeah, and I'm just reading over. We're talking about having different pantheons, and stuff like that, and primarily I work with the Kemetic one. And now you can't really see her, but I do have. Well, you can probably see, Ishtar, Inanna in the back, and there's a postcard that I have here, and that is actually, what era is this? Does it say? All right, well, it's from the 1700s, but this is a Japanese deity named Kishimojin, and she's kind of a syncretic Buddhist deity, but I was introduced to her through Nichiren Buddhism, and our adopted grandmother, Mama-chan, honored Kishimojin and credited her with protecting her grandchildren. So, I'm sure a little bit of eclecticism is pretty common, and it can come from different places, and in this case, like Kishimojin, that just happens to be because, we knew somebody who, exposed us to that, and, that became, part of it. But, there's no, that's the beautiful thing about paganism is, there's no right answer or wrong answer. You can, you do what works for you.
I'd also point out there aren't many Kemetics around, but there are lots of people who follow Kemetic deities.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So encourage where people ask.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, what was kind of a bummer for me, like we had a in fall of 2019, but back when we still could have big get-togethers there, we actually had a little pagan festival for our area, and it was the first time in many years that somebody had done one. And so we got folks together. Well, there's lots of heathens in this area, lots of like eclectic Wiccans, and there's somebody who does a little of everything, including Isean, and his people come from I don't even know where and do stuff. But then there was like somebody who's after I presented and talked about being Kemetic and hey, if you have any questions, come talk to me. Somebody's like, well, I worship Anubis as part of my thing, and had no interest in asking me anything else. They were just telling me that, and I'm like, okay, well, that's nice to know. Well, do you want to? So you don't want to talk to me. You're just giving me trivia. Okay. I felt a little let down. It was kind of a bummer to me, but that's just me. I would rather, get to share and talk and, do that instead of just, okay, nice to know that. But,
yeah, instead of it being something someone just, hey, I have that name on my card too.
Yeah. So. Oh, hey, Farrell. And I assume it's Djehuty. It's appropriate that Anubis or Anapu was your gateway deity because Anapu presides over initiations. That's why he was associated with funerals, because that is a form of initiation. You're passing from this life into the next one. And so that's also why he was the first deity that I worked with too. And the first statue I ever got is the one of Anubis sitting over here next to Amun. I got him in the year 2000. So it's getting close to 21.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, we can take him out drinking.
Other folks will mention that another one is Bast, who welcomes people in.
Yeah.
And I have to say about that is what makes sense about this. Cats are naturally threshold creatures. When you open a door, they don't want to be inside, they don't want to be outside. They want to sit right in the middle.
Oh, that sounds like Darren. Always having to sit in the doorway.
Yeah.
Well, you were born on a feast of Bast, so you manifest that by sitting in doorways. Huh?
Be sweet to me.
Okay. All right, and by the way, I noticed my phone is rather low, so it may, if it cuts out, that's because the battery went out. I don't know if I have a way to
plug it in.
I don't.
If it does,
I don't know. Let me try. Let me see if I can do this.
If it does go out, you will be counted as absent.
Oh, hush. Yeah, let's see if I've got a longer one. It's funny. I have extensions for USB. I do not have a splitter. I guess I need to try and fix that. Because they make those for USBs, don't they?
I don't know. I think they should, because they use USB for all kinds of power sources.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You know what? That's wow. Wait a minute. I'm not using my tablet right now. Will this? No, and that won't fit. Darn it. So I was going to see if I could use my tablet thing. But I don't think I've got a way to plug it in right now. Not without, moving it all the way the heck over. So that's our technical difficulty for the issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then we'll need to hustle.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And talking about festivals, Arkansas Pagan Pride is those folks are awesome. Yes. And I'd love to find out about more of them out there, but and it's really scenic too. You're up in Hot Springs, you're up in the mountains, and it's in a nice little park, and we had a great time. So yes, I will absolutely talk it up because they're cool. So, all right. Does anybody have a request for divination or anything like that before we wrap it up for the evening?
I do.
Okay. And started looking into to the deacons. Any guidance? Okay. That's because Josh had a question about the deacons, of course, those being the weeks, the 10-day periods, and you had names assigned to them. First bit of advice is keep in mind that Budge's work is the stuff that's most widely known, but it's outdated. Because if you go in, which book is it that I've got? The Gods of the Egyptians, Volume 2. I think that's the one where I found some names for like the deacons, but take that and cross-reference it with other things. I have a video where I talked about it a little bit, but as for like the names and things like that, there's still so much that we don't know, especially because the Egyptians were, in all fairness, they were not as accurate of astronomers as the Babylonians were. The Babylonians, as a matter of fact, our zodiac traces back to their constellations and their star system, so their charts and everything. But we have star charts that we're still trying to figure out from the Egyptians because of the way they traced everything by line of sight, and the maps that they made. It's kind of hard to figure out what stars they're talking about. And so with the deacons, they also shifted over time. So the first deacon from one period in their history wouldn't have been the one that came up at the beginning of the year, a little later on. So that's a really hard thing to research. I can't say what's the best source off the top of my head to look at because even I'm having to sit there and piece apart, what works from one versus another. So I'll have to try and find more information on that. But all I can say is probably if you were trying to find like which names of deacons would have come up at the beginning, there's a whole bunch of them that are related to Orion. And if you think about it, Orion would have come up before Sirius. Because, actually, if you've got a clear night right now, you could go out and you can see right now Orion is like right overhead. And there's a very bright star just off to the to the left and a little lower, and that's Sirius. And right now they're right about midway to a little towards the west of the sky. And they'll disappear sometime in May. And we won't see them again until very early morning in August. So that's a little bit of astronomy you can actually go out and see as long as you don't have too much light pollution.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. Post-COVID Pagan Pride road trip. I have ivory. Okay, and all right. So Asara Tutankhamun has a question: am I on the right path with my life? And then also Yamana has one, so we'll do that. Come down. And also from okay.
Remember, folks, we need to kind of move this along because we don't want Yamanu's power to run out.
Mm. Or my phone anyway. So
right.
This commission, yeah. Okay. Now I will say this: once we can get incorporated, I do want to hold a convention here. But in order to do it right, we got to get the incorporation, all that, so we can have the insurance and all that good stuff. So,
right.
Again, all this, this will be when it's safe to do this. So in another couple of years. But let's start with our divinations. And the first question from I think Osaro. Yes. Yours is going to be the first one. And all right. There. I'll tell you what, Darren.
Shake it for me. Whoa.
Okay, that one. Okay. Alrighty.
It jumped out.
Okay. Osaru, for your question. Your group of friends is about to expand.
Good.
So, if you're on the right path, I guess you'll know because you meet people and you make new friends. So, hopefully that helps.
It feels positive.
Huh?
It feels positive.
Yeah. So I would say, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. You know what? Let me just set this over here.
You could have thrown it out.
Well, I'm trying not to throw something with crumbs in here. There we go. We'll figure it out. Okay, and next, Yamanu. Let's go ahead and do yours. Wait a minute. All right. And yours says, it is a great piece of skill to know how to guide your luck, even while waiting for it.
I'm usually pretty good at that, though.
Yeah, it sounds like, there are things you could be doing to kind of, even while you're waiting, things you can do to kind of get things moving along.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and the next one we had was for Josh, and then I know there's going to be others, so I'll check with those. Let me just get... Wait a minute. Okay. It takes a lot of time to achieve instant success.
Wow. There's some wisdom.
Be patient.
Well, a lot of times what happens is you work on things, and you're working at it, and you're just going through daily life, and it seems like a grind, and like you're not getting anywhere, and then all of a sudden, bam, it all comes to fruition. I've been there, so yes, it takes a lot of time to achieve instant success. So be patient. It will all start to click when the time is right. Okay, so we'll see who we had next. Okay, give me the number coordinations. Okay, Oh, and by the way, Celery, you're working on a form of divination involving Senate sticks. There is already one that's out there that the Kemetic Orthodox does, and they call it Fedu, which means four. But it's basically that. And what's funny, I know about it because years ago, a friend of mine, she had a set of like the black and white Senate sticks, and kind of explained it. But the principle is very similar to another form of divination. So what you're thinking of is there's like parallel thinking on that already. And there's stuff that's out there that, and it draws from African traditional religion. But I'll have to like take a picture of the page in the book on divination that I've got where they show that, because it's exactly the same thing, just using like coconut pieces or something, but it's using four, and you have combinations based on,
right.
1 up, 2 up, 3 up, 4 up,
yeah,
so on. So yeah, okay, yeah, and Rebecca was saying she did a tarot, for the Southern Storm relief, and got the Six of Coins, which is, giving, receiving, sharing wealth, generosity, and charity. I can say this. We are finally starting to recover. I know that some things are still kind of sparse in the store, so it's not going to be instant. And I noticed the animals are really stressed out because, I've noticed a couple of animals die, around the yard within the last week. So it's still kind of working itself out. The water is very high. I'm going to say for anybody else in the South, watch out. I think we're going to have flooding this spring. So the message for us is, charity and hospitality. That's what Rebecca was saying. So, okay. And I'm just going to put that out there if there's any more requests for divination, because it's very easy for me to miss sometimes if there's a good conversation going. And I know I need to give you guys the link for my for the Kemetic Reform Discord, because I don't have it memorized. And the other thing is I can't pull it off of my phone and then type it, because if I do that, then that'll zap my connection with the video chat. But what I can tell you is my personal name is I'll give you that, and then I can post a link on my page. But it's Mr. Tommy. Hashtag it should be should be that. That's my name on Discord. So yeah. Okay. And another thing, I figured out a really wonderful use for all the fortune cookies. I took them and crunched them up and put them on top of some chocolate pudding, and that was yeah, it was really tasty. Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, and it's asking if I just put a permanent link to your server. Yeah, go right ahead. And so the link to the Kemetic Reform. Yeah, okay, and just be patient with me. I'm gonna have to charge my phone back up and then get on Discord and I'll find everybody and friend people up, and then I'll share, and I'll get to everybody. Probably put something in a video, but just little bits. It took me this long just to get on Discord, so yeah. I'm learning, but in the meantime, and of course, I think cyberspace is Thoth, is Djehuty's domain anyway. Because if you think about it, it was created by science and numbers and bits and bytes and so forth, and so it's all his thing. Cool. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. If anybody has any more requests, just, let me know. Hail unto you, Atum. Hail unto you, Capri. You come into being upon the primeval hill. You shine forth upon the shrine of the phoenix in Unu. You breathe out Shu and Tefnut. May the giving of these offerings endure, as the name of Atum, foremost of the great Enid, endures. May they endure as the name of Shu, Lord of Upper Menset in Unu, endures. As the name of Tefnut, Mistress of Lower Menset in Unu, endures. As the name of Geb at the Earth's Ba endures. As the name of Nut in the Shrine of Shenit endures. As As the name of Osir, Kentia Mentiu endures. As the name of Aset Inichero endures. As the name of Sutek in Nubet endures. As the name of Horus in Pei endures. As the name of Wajit in Dep endures. As the name of Djehuty in Kemetic endures. As the name of Ra in the Akhet endures, likewise, for eternity. You have come in peace, O Ra. You have come in peace, O Djehuty, O Unechidu. May you go forth in peace, O Ra, O Djehuty, Ma'at, O Unechidu. May you go forth in peace to every place your immortal cause wish to be. May you sail in joy in the Menjet bark and rest content in the Sektet bark. And may you smile upon us, your humble servants. Okay. All right, guys. Cool. Yeah, and so there is a way to search by server name, in the search engine. Awesome. So yeah, look for the Kemetic Reform server, and that's me. And what I'll do is I'll post announcements and things like that, and hopefully open up some other little channels in there, for other discussion. So we can go from there. But in the meantime, much love, everyone. I hope you are all safe and well in the coming week. And, for those of you that are in the Northern Hemisphere with me, and I'm looking forward to spring. I know I've got viewers down in Australia. I hope you guys, have a wonderful fall and a good, harvest season coming up. And I'll see you guys online soon. Next week. Okay. All right.